back working in the closet today. We were almost done with the master closet. Very exciting. We've got a little more base to go in. Dad and I got 2 pieces put in here last weekend. And we've got a little bit more base to run down this wall. And then we got to wrap around this inside here. And then we'll jump back across and finish up over here. Then we got to do shoe around the whole room as well, including around the base of our built-in cabinet here. So that's coming along nicely. Amber this week has gone through and put another coat of paint on everything. She got all the nail holes filled in, a couple little spots that we got to touch up, but for the most part, all the nail holes have been filled in. The cabinet's been painted on the inside with that nice blue, so it matches the contrasting color on the walls. That looks really cool. So she's got all this painted out. So hopefully I'm gonna knock out the last of the trim in here today, and we'll go ahead and caulk and fill nail holes, get that painted out tomorrow. And then that means we'll be able to finally get everything moved in here and organized. Of course, I do have to build some shelves for this side of the closet, but that's gonna wait a little bit longer till we knock out a few other projects downstairs. So I'm gonna get some pieces of base measured out. I gotta cope the one end, and the other end will be an outside 90. So I'll have to put a 45 on that end. So I've gotta be real careful with my measurements there to make sure we get that nailed the first time. I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple pieces cut and we'll get those installed. All right, so I got the long piece and the inside piece going into the corner cut. And what I did was go ahead and put them together with the CA glue. The trouble with these outside corners is they're really hard to make perfect when your wall surface is uneven. And on this one, for instance, you can see where the drywall crew went down to the bottom there, and there's a little bit of a dog leg in the corner bead right at the very end, so that would have caused it to kick out just a little bit. And the corner bead sticking out down there at the bottom a little bit, and just a little bit uneven. So then you go to try to put your one piece on and make the other one meet it nice and neat, and it makes it really difficult. So better solution is to go ahead and dry fit your pieces together, make sure everything's going to go in both directions just like it's supposed to, and then go ahead and put the CA glue to it. That way you know it's going to hold nice and tight, and will give you a good looking corner. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one nailed in place, and then we'll move on to our next piece on this inside. Moving along. All right, so I'm getting ready to cut another piece to go in the closet. This is the short piece that runs up against the door frame. So I'm gonna cut it down to length. I'll put a 45 on the end that I need to cope. And then I've got my coping tools laying here. My grinder with a flap disc, and then my Dremel tool with a carbide wood carving bit. I like the 2 of them because I can use the grinder with the flap disc to take off a lot of material quickly. And then that carbide bit works great to get up into these smaller details on this splinter hasset molding. The flap disc is too big. Can't quite work that rounded profile. So let me go ahead and get this thing cut to length, and then we'll cope it. All right, so there's the results of coping. And did that again with the combination of the flap disc on the grinder and the carving disc on that Dremel. And let me show you how this fits together. So you'll have another piece on the wall that this will run up against. So I can hold it in there nice and square. It's kind of hard to do from this side. Anyways, it'll sit right in there like so. And give us a nice tight joint. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. Now I've done these with the coping saw. It's not bad, but I've really gotten to like using the grinder and the Dremel tool. So I don't know which would be faster. Could probably do it a little quicker with the coping saw, maybe. But man, I just feel like I get such a tight joint with this method, using the grinder and the flap disc and this carving tool on the Dremel, that I'm just going to keep rolling this way. So let me take this piece up and get it fitted, and that'll turn us around the corner there, and then we'll move on to the other side of the doorway. All right, we got that whole corner filled in now. Now we're ready to move on to the other side of the doorway here. One piece here, and then one piece goes down to meet the cabinet, and then we'll be ready to wrap the entire space, cabinet and all, with shoe. Looking really nice. So let me go cut this next to last piece here. We'll get that in, and then we'll have one more to cope and put that one in. All right, so we got the final two pieces in. This one by the door, and this one that runs over to the built-in. Very, very happy to have the last of the base down. Now we can move on to getting down the shoe, and that's where we're going to clean everything up, hide any gaps in the floor, any imperfections in the base. It's really going to make it look nice. I'm going to go cut a couple pieces here. I'll start right here in this corner since I already got everything moved out of the way, and then work my way down the wall, around the bottom of the built-in, and then round and around the room. All right, the first two pieces of shoe molding are down, and boy, does that really finish off the space nicely. A little bit of caulk, a little nail filler, and it's going to look fantastic. Next, we're going to move over here to the built-in, and we'll get the piece that wraps around the built-in done. That'll really tie it in nicely to the floor and to the rest of the molding. Make it look like one built-in piece. How about it?
Yeah, it looks great.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thank you much. Shoe is definitely a little bit easier at this point than the base.
Yeah.
Base is tricky because you're dealing with a lot more imperfections in the wall, and the shoe is a lot more flexible, so it will bend to the base and to the floor, which is the idea. Helps to cover everything up and hide any imperfections. Good stuff, huh, babe?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got the shoe around the base of the built-in cabinet there. That really finishes that off nicely. Takes it from looking like we just stuck a cabinet in here to looking like it's now part of the room. So I'm real happy with that. Still got to do a little filler work around the base there. We got a few nail holes to fill and touch up a couple of those joints there, smooth those out a little bit. Most of it on the front here, that's going to be hidden by the doors. So you want to see the seam along the bottom there where we joined the trim on the bottom. And by the time we get it caulked out, painted and everything, it's going to look awesome. So that just ties in nicely to the shoe that's running along the base here. So we'll get that caulked in, and then all that's good to go. But it's getting late, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. Tomorrow I'll finish running the shoe all the way around the rest of the room. Once I've got that knocked out, we'll go through and caulk and fill. Then we'll be ready to go ahead and get things painted out. So that's going to do it for this evening. We'll catch up with you guys again tomorrow. Hopefully we're going to knock this project out, and we got to move back downstairs and start on the big stuff. The crown in the dining room, the crown in the kitchen, the base in the dining room, the living room. Still got to case some windows downstairs. So we'll be knocking out that trim pile pretty quickly once we get to move back downstairs. So see you guys tomorrow. Hey everybody, we're back at work on our master closet today. I'm putting down the last of the shoe molding, and then we'll go ahead and get everything cleaned up and touched up, caulked, and painted. The base and the shoe. We'll touch the paint up and everything on it. Then we'll be ready to load that closet up. We're gonna have to hang our closet rods, put the shelves back in place, but other than that, it'll be ready to put together. So we're excited to get clothes hung and shoes put away and boxes unpacked. That's really gonna help us to get the master bedroom organized, get all that junk out of there. We're tired of tripping over it. Also, I think we may change plans and start working on chair rail because we've got furniture pulled away from the walls in the master and in the guest bedroom. We may go ahead and put chair rail up today. At some point, we'll come back and box it in with smaller trim and create our wainscoting. But for now, I think we're just gonna go ahead and put up the chair rail since we've got everything pulled away from the wall, and that'll get that really finished out nicely. Amber had painted the two-tone paint job so that the lower part of the wall would have the trim color and the upper would be the regular body color. So we've got it painted out already. It's just a matter of picking exactly where, where we want to hang the chair rail and then getting it hung up. So I have to get out the laser level, excuse me, get choked on sawdust, get out the laser level and get that hung up. So that may be the next step that we take versus coming downstairs and getting to work on crown and base and everything in some of the other rooms. So I'm gonna go upstairs and get this piece of shoe fitted. I gotta cope it first, and then I've got maybe 6 more pieces to go after that. That should go pretty quickly, and we'll make some good progress today. So I've got it clamped to the table saw, or the miter saw extension here. Got it clamped to that, and then I'll use the flap disc on the grinder to create the relief, to cope the back side of that. That way it'll slide nicely in against the previous piece there. It's not super detailed, so it actually works great to just use the flap disc. I don't even have to get the Dremel out, even though I've already got it laying there, because, you know, just in case. So let me go ahead and get this thing carved out, and then we'll be good to go. It's usually a little faster than that, but holding the cell phone with one hand and then grinding with the other, I had to be a little extra careful. But it does a really nice job. So let me just get that cleaned up a little bit with some sandpaper, and we'll take it upstairs and get it fitted. All right, so I got these 2 pieces down. And that coping technique with the flap disc really makes a nice, tight joint. Really happy with that. Once we put, you know, a little dab of caulk and a little dab of paint on there, it's gonna look really good. Same thing on this other side here. It really just does a nice tight joint there. All right, so those 2 are done. I'm gonna move some stuff around here out of the way, of course. Get these extra boxes of tile and stuff out of the way. Then we'll do the long wall. This one's gonna be a little trickier because it's got that outside 45 here. And then we got another 45 going to that inside corner. So I'll have to be careful with those. I'm gonna go ahead and get measured up here, and then we'll do around the last of the walls here, and that'll be done. Woo! All right, so that corner is done. We got this long piece in, and the long piece, or shorter piece, going over to the corner here. So then we got 2 more pieces. These 2 here, and then we'll be done. Awesome. This corner was a little trickier. This wall is not exactly square, this corner. So I actually had to get my miter saw compass out. You can see it on the shelf over there. That guy. And measure the corner. And I ended up having to cut the shoe at a 46-degree angle. And that's really what I should have done on the base. You can see where the base actually sprung apart just a little bit on the corner there. I'm a little frustrated by that. I had glued it using my CA glue, and it looked beautiful. But then when I actually pushed this into the corner over here to nail it in place, this cracked. So that sucks. So I did go ahead and pin nail it, and I'll just have to caulk that or put a little wood filler in there and sand it smooth. So a little frustrated by that. It was a beautiful joint, but unfortunately because this wall, it's not exactly square. Once I push that into the corner to get that in there, then this broke loose. So that sucks. But anyways, I figured out what was going on, and thankfully on this shoe, cut it at a 46-degree angle, and it met perfectly. Looks beautiful. So this miter saw compasses are really handy for that situation. So 2 more pieces. Got to do a little guy across here, and then an even smaller guy across here, and that'll wrap it up. All right, so the last piece of shoe is ready to go in. Got it all coped out here. So let's go ahead and slide that into position. And as you can see, it goes in there nicely. Nice tight joint. And then on this side, it's square where it meets the casing, and then it's got a 30-degree bevel on it, just to soften the edges just a little bit, give it a nice look. So let's go ahead and put some pin nails in it. Love this little pin nailer. One of the best investments I made in this whole project. It, just secures everything nicely. It's only a 23 gauge nail, so it just leaves the tiniest little dimple where it goes in. But it still has quite a bit of strength. Yeah, it's perfect for little trim jobs like this. You wouldn't want to hold base in with it. I had to use the regular 18 gauge trim gun there. But, because you're trying to pull the base in tight against the studs and everything else to really hold it in place. And this is the Bostitch. Actually, it's a 16 gauge. I misspoke there. That's the Bostitch 16 gauge trim nailer that I've been using. It's actually my brother's. I borrowed it, probably 2 years ago. Thanks, Chad. He bought it for a project, and it's just been sitting around, so I've been exercising it. But it's been great. So it's perfect for holding stuff that needs a little more grab. And then the trim nailer at 23 gauge is good for everything else. I mean, I put casing and everything else up with it. So it's been perfect. All right, that's the last piece of shoe. So we're ready to go ahead and caulk and fill nail holes and get this touched up with a little trim paint. We'll be good to go. All right, so we have a change of scenery here. We are in the guest room now. Hey, babe.
Hello.
How's it going?
What's up?
So you see we got the laser level up here. We're going to run some chair rail. As I mentioned earlier, Amber painted out the room with the intention of putting chair rails. So we got trim color down below and then the body color up top, which looks really classy. The last step in here, we got crown and casing and base and shoe and everything else done in here. So the last step really is the chair rail. At some point we may come back and do some wainscoting. What do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, but let's get everything else finished.
Right. That's something we can save for a rainy day.
Yeah.
But
We're bored.
when we're bored. When's that going to be?
I don't know.
So anyway, so we got the laser level set up so we can go ahead and make sure we get the chair rail 100% level and everything meets up and looks good all the way around the room. So we're going to make some marks on the wall here, and then we'll go ahead and make some cuts, get some pieces up. Exciting, isn't it, babe?
Yes.
All right, we got the first piece up and it's looking good. What do you think, babe?
I like it.
We've looked at the two-tone paint for so long, it seems weird
I know.
having an actual chair rail there, but it does look classy.
But I am thinking we're going to have to do some sort of boxes or something.
Wainscoting. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, I'm going to cut this other piece and then we'll cope it. Put that up.
Okay.
All right, so we got this piece in next to the window. Going to do one more piece here to finish out this corner, and then I think we're going to wrap up for the evening. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I think I already have.
Amber's already checked out, but Yeah, let's go ahead and get this last cope done and this last piece in the corner, and then we'll finish up the other half of the room sometime this week. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that corner is done. Now we just have, what do we have?
3 more pieces.
2, 3 more pieces.
1 corner.
We're gonna get it done tonight. We're tired. It's been a long day, long weekend. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up here for the weekend, and I'm sure we'll be tackling more of it later this week. Can't wait.
Oh, are you really recording?
Yes. So that's going to do it for this episode of Woodmere State Revival. Amber's going to dance us out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We always enjoy having you all along. We got a lot accomplished in the master closet. Very excited to have that done. And Amber's working on a little caulk and a little nail filler, getting the last of the painting done in there. Then we're going to hang up the closet rods, put the shelves back in, and get that baby loaded up. Once we've got it loaded, we're going to go ahead and figure out what kind of shelving we need on the other side there. We've got to build some in that alcove, so we'll do that after we've kind of got a feel for how much extra storage and what type of storage we need. Then also this week, we'll be tackling the rest of the chair rail in here, and then we'll move into the master bedroom and do the chair rail there, and maybe the chair rail in the upstairs hallway too while we're at it. And then we'll finally move back downstairs and tackle all the base, casing, shoe, and remaining crown in the dining room and kitchen areas. That's all. No big deal. The great thing is the piles of trim are shrinking, so that means we're going to have more living space downstairs. We're tired of tripping over that stuff. So we're looking forward to getting the rest of that stuff put up so we don't have to mess with it or trip over it every time we go through the house. So be sure to tune in again next time. We're going to get all into all sorts of good stuff. Screaming going on downstairs. I'm sure it's not anything that's concerning at all. Be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode. Give us a like if you would, please. And as always, share the channel with your friends and family and neighbors and coworkers. See you guys real soon. Bye-bye.